Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. Thank you very much for joining this virtual preview of our Racing Pulse auction taking place this Saturday, December 12th, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That is 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Central Europe Time. I'm Paul Boutros, the head of watches for the Americas. The Racing Pulse auction includes a section dedicated to charity, that is the Time Counts Initiative in partnership with the One Drop Foundation and the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation. That section includes 12 lots donated by celebrated personalities, with 100% of proceeds, including Phillips Buyers Premium, benefiting these two foundations. I'm going to cover some of the highlights of this sale, a total of 138 lots, starting with our cover lots, and that first one, the top lot of the auction, is lot number 38. It is the Rolex Big Red Daytona, owned by Paul Newman, one of the world's most important watches, and we're thrilled to offer it. It was a gift by Joanne Woodward, his wife, on the occasion of their 25th wedding anniversary. She engraved the case back, "Drive Slowly, Joanne." This watch replaced Paul Newman's first watch, the reference 6239 Daytona, that he received in 1968, and we auctioned that watch in 2017 for a world record price at the time of $17.8 million. This is the watch that he wore the longest, from 1983 until 2008, when in 2008, just a few months before his passing, he gave it to his daughter, his youngest daughter, Clea Newman. And Clea has worn it and enjoyed it until the present day, and she's decided to sell it at this point in time, due to the challenges the world is facing, in order to raise funds for two charitable foundations that were started by her father, the Serious Fund Children's Network and the Safe Water Network. The watch has an estimate in excess of $1 million. The next cover lot is one of the most important Heuer wristwatches ever to be offered. It is one of 6 Heuer Monacos worn during the filming of the movie Le Mans, that was led by Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen prominently wore this, and it became such an important model for the history of Heuer. This watch was given to the chief mechanic of the film and Steve McQueen's personal mechanic, a gentleman by the name of Haig Altunian. And Haig, once he received it, the watch had an engraved case back done by Steve McQueen to Haig, Le Mans, 1970. Haig cherished the watch for 2 years. He wore it and then placed it into a safe deposit box, where it stayed there for 50 years. And he's now decided to part with it, and a portion of the proceeds of its sale will benefit the Boys Republic, a charitable foundation started by Steve McQueen. And the estimate is on request for anyone interested in bidding. And then the third and final lot featured on the cover is Sylvester Stallone's Luminor Panerai, and it is the most important modern Panerai ever offered publicly. This is a brand-defining watch that put Panerai on the map. The luxury conglomerate Vendôme, which is now known as Richemont, would afterwards purchase the brand. Before Stallone wore this watch in the 1996 film Daylight, no one had heard of Panerai. And this watch, being viewed by millions of people on the silver screen by this 1 in a billion actor, really caught many people's attention, including Richemont today. The watch comes accompanied with a handwritten and hand-signed letter on Sylvester Stallone's stationery, confirming it is the watch that he wore in that film, along with this movie card where Sylvester Stallone signed it and circled the watch, calling it the real star of the film. The estimate is $40,000 to $80,000. Next, we switch to some of the Patek Philippe highlights, starting with lot number 5, a Patek Philippe Nautilus reference 5980, two-tone case, stainless steel and rose gold, retailed by Tiffany & Company with that sought-after signature found at 12 o'clock, a very subtle signature that is extremely coveted by collectors. Consigned by the original owner, complete with its original certificate of origin and box. The watch is in superb condition and being offered with an estimate of $60,000 to $120,000. Lot number 9 is a very rare reference 5071G, one of only 8 known with factory diamond set bezel and case. A beautiful watch featuring the last generation chronograph movement before Patek Philippe switched to in-house movements, Lamania-based caliber. It's complete with its original certificate of origin and box, donated where the hammer price will be donated to the One Drop Foundation. The estimate is $100,000 to $200,000. Lot number 10 is the top Patek Philippe lot of the sale. One of the most important modern references, the reference 3974G, introduced in 1989 on the occasion of the brand's 150th anniversary. At the time, it was the world's most complicated wristwatch, produced in very few numbers. Just the production is believed across all case metals to be just around 100 watches in total. It was produced in 18 karat yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, and platinum. The white gold version is the rarest. It's one of only 5, and this is the 5th to appear, absolutely fresh to the market, complete with its original box, certificate of origin, and second case back. The estimate is $600,000 to $1.2 million. Lot 24 is a wonderful modern Patek, factory sealed, a chronograph with a multi-scale dial. This watch was introduced in 2014. It's complete with its boxes and papers. The estimate is $40,000 to $60,000. Lot 25 is the successor to Lot 10. The 3974 was replaced by the reference 5016, and an additional complication was incorporated. That is a tourbillon, plus also the addition of a retrograding date complication. A very complicated wristwatch. It was Patek Philippe's most complicated wristwatch before the introduction of the Sky Moon tourbillon. This one is in platinum with applied Piguet numerals. Its original certificate of origin, box, paperwork, photographs, and second case back are all included. The estimate is $300,000 to $600,000. Now we have an exceptional vintage Patek Philippe. Lot number 60 is what we call the pristine Padalone. It's a reference 3448 first series with raised hard enamel printing on the dial. The Patek Philippe and Genève writing is actually hard enamel, not ink, as are the date numerals at 6 o'clock. The minute markers are pearl shaped, all signature features of the first series dials. The watch has never been polished and it was hardly ever worn. Really incredibly preserved example, complete with the certificate of origin and original box. It comes from the estate consigned by the descendants of Dr. Theodore Rubin, who was a prominent American psychiatrist, the author of 25 books on the subject. His books inspired 2 films, one directed by Oprah Winfrey, and he's also known for having coined the term comfort food. The estimate is $150,000 to $300,000. Lot 85 is a highly sought after Patek Philippe Nautilus, the reference 5976G. It is a watch introduced for the 40th anniversary of the Nautilus in 2016. It is the largest Nautilus ever made in 18 karat white gold with diamond set hour markers. It comes complete with its original certificate of origin. It is factory sealed, brand new, never worn, consigned by the original owner, and comes with the iconic cork box that Patek Philippe reintroduced for these anniversary models. The estimate is $150,000 to $300,000. Lot number 86 is a wonderful Patek Philippe reference 5275P. It's an hour striker with instantaneous jumping hour, jumping minutes, and jumping seconds. Highly complicated mechanism. This example is factory sealed, also consigned by the original owner, complete with all of its original boxes and papers. The estimate is $260,000 to $520,000. Lot 96 is a wonderful example of an early Patek Philippe World Time wristwatch, the reference 1415. This example was owned and worn by the Hollywood actor Robert Stack, who was on the television program of the 1950s known as The Untouchables. Later in his career, he served as the voice for Unsolved Mysteries. This watch is extremely well preserved, and it's actually an early pre-series model with certain characteristics that are very different than when the watch was in full production, including the use of an early 20th century pocket watch movement and red enamel dots right on the innermost portion of the bezel. It has his signature Robert Stack beautifully engraved. That was done by Patek Philippe at the factory. And a picture of Robert Stack wearing this watch can be found. Just a wonderful watch with a great Hollywood provenance. The estimate is $100,000 to $200,000. Lot number 120, we switch to another modern Patek Philippe reference, the reference 5270P, with this beautiful salmon colored dial and black gold applied numerals. The watch comes complete with its original certificate of origin and box with very few signs of wear. Very well preserved example at $120,000 to $180,000. Lot 137 is the earliest predecessor of the 5270. The reference 1518, introduced in 1941. This example dates to the mid-1940s. Beautifully preserved dial, which has never seen any type of intervention or restoration, with the long signature and all lettering perfectly intact. All printing that you see is, again, raised hard enamel, susceptible to some loss if it was ever cleaned. Everything is perfectly crisp and intact in 18-karat yellow gold. The estimate is $350,000 to $700,000. Switching gears now to some of the exceptional Rolex watches in this sale, starting with lot number 17, a very early Rolex Explorer, a reference 6350 from 1953, featuring a wonderful honeycomb dial, completely original with the characteristic 369 dial, with an elongated hour hand and a seconds hand with a very small dot at the very tip, all characteristics of the earliest generation of the Explorer. This example was consigned by the original owner, who happens to be 90 years old. He received it as a gift from his wife and wore it only on very special occasions. What you see is an included letter signed by him telling the story of how he received the watch from his wife, who was in Switzerland, and how he wore it in special occasions. He was a octopus wrestler, believe it or not, and was very famous for being an octopus wrestler. The estimate is $50,000 to $100,000. Lot number 19 is an issued Rolex Submariner, a very coveted reference 5517. It's the first 5517 that Philips has ever offered. This one is extremely well preserved with a case that has never seen a polishing, a flawless dial, as it is a military issued Submariner commissioned by the British Ministry of Defense and issued to the Army Air Corps in 1979. It has several different features specific to military use that set it apart from a standard Submariner. The case is extraordinary. The fact that it includes a letter known as a Henry Hudson letter, which confirms when it was delivered, and the serial numbers makes it really stand out. The estimate is $100,000 to $200,000. Lot number 36 is a modern Rolex Daytona, the first generation self-winding Daytona, reference 16528, with the earliest configuration from 1988 in R serial, with a floating Cosmograph dial where the Cosmograph word is set a little bit below the 4 lines of text above, and an early 200 unit per hour calibrated bezel. The watch is in unpolished, very, very nice condition, and it is being offered without reserve, meaning any bid can win it, and the estimate is $30,000 to $60,000. Lot number 37 is an extraordinary Paul Newman type Daytona, a reference 6239 in 18 karat yellow gold with a champagne colored Paul Newman style dial. The watch was consigned by the family of the original owner, making it absolutely fresh to the market. The dial is nearly flawless and the case is very crisp. We're thrilled to offer this watch with an estimate of $300,000 to $600,000. Lot number 55 is a very early Rolex Submariner, a reference 6205 from the first year of production in 1954, When Rolex launched the Submariner, 3 models were introduced: the 6204, 6205, and 6200. The 6205 was produced for 1 year only, and it has characteristics of the earliest Submariners, which include pencil-shaped hands, a bezel with no hash marks, no minute markings, and on the case back, you see a Rolex oyster case engraving showing how crisp and well-preserved this case is. The estimate is $80,000 to $160,000. Lot number 89 is a later generation Rolex Submariner, a reference 1680, the first Submariner to include a date indication. This is a meters first dial, quite sought after, and a Mark III meters first dial, complete with its original punched papers, box, and hang tags. The case is unpolished. The patina that's developed on the dial and hands is a lovely shade of cream, and the estimate is $20,000 to $40,000. Lot number 92 is an exceptional Rolex day date, a new find, possibly unique example with this wonderful guilloche pattern on the dial. In the guilloche pattern, it's clearly asymmetric and offset from the date window. For all of us who encountered this watch, it's something that has never been seen before across any brand, where the guilloche pattern is so asymmetric. It was made for the Middle Eastern market. It dates to 1963. The platinum case is extremely well preserved, unpolished, with its original platinum bracelet with matching date. The estimate is $100,000 to $200,000. Lot number 93 is an extremely well-preserved Rolex Panerai reference 8171, one of the most complicated watches that Rolex made in the vintage era, produced for just 3 years from 1949 to 1952. This example in 18 karat yellow gold has a truly well-preserved case with very crisp serial number and Rolex crown seen on the case back. The dial has some aging on the outer edge, which is still very pleasing, and the estimate is $150,000 to $300,000. Lot 113 is another Rolex Panerai, this time in 18 karat pink gold, very rare and sought after. It's only the second pink gold 8171 that Philips has had the pleasure of offering. The dial is nearly flawless with no signs of aging having developed on it, and the estimate is $300,000 to $600,000. Lot 122 is a beautiful tropical Rolex double red sea dweller, thin case with a dial that's aged from black to this lovely shade of chocolate brown. It includes its original punched paperwork, box, and hang tag, a well-preserved example at $40,000 to $80,000. Lot 124 is another issued Submariner, this time for the maritime diving specialists Comex, based in Marseille. This is a big number Comex, a proper reference 5514, specially made for that organization with Comex on the dial. The case is extremely well preserved. It has never seen a polishing, and it's the finest example of a 5514 we've offered. The estimate is $60,000 to $120,000. Lot 123 is a very early Rolex GMT Master, a first generation reference 6542 with Bakelite plastic bezel. This watch has a remarkable provenance. It comes from Dr. David L. Pratt, who was an explorer. He was part of the expeditionary team, the very first one to cross Antarctica. He was a key member of that team, where a mountain in Antarctica was named after him. It includes a whole bunch of accessories that he used for that expedition, including a pedometer, a telescope, and his notes. We have received a copy of a letter that his grandson had written describing the story of this watch and how all members of this expeditionary team received this watch from the Queen of England at the time. To celebrate that accomplishment. The estimate is $60,000 to $120,000. Lot 125 is one of the most complicated vintage Rolex watches of, again, the vintage era. This is a reference 6036 Jean-Claude Killy with triple calendar and chronograph. a very well preserved example with an early dial featuring reverse embossed hour markers. The dial has taken on a beautiful cream color, and the estimate is $120,000 to $240,000. Now we look at some of the other brands being offered in this sale, starting with lot number 6, a beautiful Audemars Piguet Royal Oak skeletonized tourbillon, complete with its original box and papers, consigned by the original owner. Proceeds from this sale will benefit the One Drop Foundation, and the estimate is $60,000 to $120,000. Lot number 18 is a military watch known as the Tornek Rayville TR900, an extremely rare US military issued watch. The watch comes from the grandson of the original owner, and it is exceptionally well preserved, the finest example we've offered. The case back has never been opened. There's a red seal that you could see in the picture on the left there, and the estimate is $50,000 to $100,000. Lot number 46 is one of 3 Panerai watches in this auction, and we're thrilled that Panerai has chosen Philips to launch this all-new model, the PAM 1700 Lab ID Carbotech. This is serial number 1. It is being sold months before any succeeding models will be offered. The watch comes with a 70-year guarantee, thanks to the use of advanced materials designed and developed by their Lab ID team. Service intervals are very, very long, and it's an exceptional example with the use of super luminova in the case, and the estimate is $30,000 to $60,000. Now we're thrilled to offer several watches from Sylvester Stallone, and starting with this Richard Mille lot number 48, the RM059 Johann Blake. The watch features these bridges that are shaped like a sprinter's hand. Johann Blake is one of the world's fastest sprinters, an Olympian who inspired the design of the movement. The watch comes with a handwritten and hand-signed letter from Sylvester Stallone on Sylvester Stallone's letterhead, and the estimate is $300,000 to $600,000. Lot 49 is another Sylvester Stallone watch worn on the silver screen. This one is the watch he chose to wear for the movie The Expendables 3. It's an RM32 Flyback chronograph diver, and he chose to wear it with this red band, and here you could see him at a press conference talking about the film wearing it. Beautiful watch with chronograph and annual calendar with large date indication. The estimate is $60,000 to $120,000. Lot number 50 is a very special Richard Mille skull tourbillon, an extremely sought after model with an 18-karat rose gold skull prominently featured at the center of the dial that form its bridges. It is a tourbillon that's right beneath the jaw of the skull, complete with another handwritten and hand-signed letter by Sylvester Stallone. The estimate is $350,000 to $700,000. Lot 51, the last watch of the Sylvester Stallone collection, is the RM2501 Tourbillon Chronograph Adventure. It was designed for Sylvester Stallone's character, the iconic character John Rambo, where Richard Mille thought, what type of mechanical instrument and watch would Rambo need to survive in the depths of the jungle? It incorporates a compass, a split seconds chronograph, a tourbillon, a level that works in conjunction with the compass, and there's a chamber integrated into the case at 2 o'clock where water purification tablets are stored. The estimate is $250,000 to $500,000. Lot number 90 is a very rare and beautiful Tudor Monte Carlo home plate chronograph, a reference 7032, with black home plate dial, consigned by the original owner, extremely well preserved with an unpolished case and a flawless dial that has aged beautifully. The estimate is $40,000 to $80,000. Lot number 102 is an FP Journe Resonance, one of 9 Journe watches we are offering, and this is a very special one. Its serial number is 4. It's a subscription piece offered to buyers of Journe's very first watches, which he sold to help raise funds to start his brand in 1999. Those early adopters were offered the opportunity to purchase his second model, which is the Resonance, in the year 2000. And this example is a brass movement 38 millimeter case in platinum with a white gold dial and absolutely stunning subdials that are very silvery. The estimate is $120,000 to $240,000. Lot 138, which is the final lot of the auction, is two pocket watches offered as one lot with an extraordinary story to tell. The watch on the left is a Howard pocket watch in 14 karat white gold. That is the only timepiece ever offered publicly that has a direct link to John Lennon. It was sold during the estate sale of John Lennon and Yoko Ono in 1984 in New York. And alongside is this Elgin, another American pocket watch in 14 karat white gold that comes from the estate sale of Andy Warhol, also sold in the 1980s and 1988 at Sotheby's in New York. The consignor of the two lots, the two watches, was inspired by this photograph that's included in the sale of John Lennon and Andy Warhol. The two were close friends throughout the 1970s in New York, and it inspired him so much that he worked for years to try to track down the two watches and bring them together. And we're thrilled to offer them together here as one lot with an estimate of $20,000 to $40,000. Now we switch to the charitable initiative we call Time Counts, that is in partnership with the One Drop Foundation, the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation. One Drop was founded by Guy Laliberté, who also founded Cirque du Soleil. And the Prince of Monaco, Prince Albert, is the chairman of the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation. And all proceeds will be donated to their charitable causes. We start with lot number 63, a very sought after modern Rolex Daytona with ceramic bezel, the reference 116500. Worn by Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. This watch has made frequent appearances on his wrist in the TV program Shark Tank. The watch includes its original bracelet box and guarantee, including the original invoice. We're thrilled to offer it with no reserve. Every lot in this section of 12 lots have no reserve, so any bid is a good bid. It's sold on its signature red band. Kevin O'Leary loves to wear red bands, and this one has an estimate of $8,000 to $12,000. Lot 66 is a unique Urwerk, one-of-a-kind piece donated by Prince Albert. Urwerk is a wonderful, modern, independent brand whose designs are inspired by safe space travel. The hours are indicated with satellite discs that rotate and point to the exact minute that you see on the watch at 6 o'clock. The estimate is $50,000 to $100,000, again, offered with no reserve. Lot 69 is a watch donated by U2's Bono. It was a watch that he gifted to his father, a Jaeger-LeCoultre from the 1960s in 18 karat pink gold. When his father sadly passed away, Bono inherited the watch, and he's decided to donate it to this cause. And it comes alongside handwritten and drawn lyrics talking about his father that Bono wrote, along with a signed letter talking about how his father was a difficult person to give anything to, but he thanks his father for giving him the gift of his voice. A touching watch with an estimate of $1,000 to $2,000. Lot number 70 is a unique Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Jumbo, a reference 15202. In stainless steel, a brand new watch, never worn, still with factory stickers in place. It was commissioned by Prince Albert, and it features his signature on the case back. It comes complete with its original guarantee, box and hang tag, and the guarantee confirms it is a limited edition of one, a unique piece. It's offered without reserve again for an estimate of $20,000 to $40,000. And then the top lots of this section are 4 Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Grand Complication wristwatches, each with perpetual calendar, split seconds chronograph, and minute repeater. They're being offered independently from lot 71 through 74. The two watches on the left, the yellow gold example and the white gold example, are unique pieces. one of one. And the two watches on the right, the pink gold and stainless steel example, both have serial number 1. The pink gold is one of 4 made, and the stainless steel is one of 5 made. They were freshly serviced by AP in Le Brassus, Switzerland, and are in like-new condition. They come complete with their original guarantee and boxes, including a special custom box made by Audemars Piguet for this Time Counts initiative. They were donated each very generously by Guy La Liberté and have an estimate of $200,000 to $400,000 each. Now I shine a light on some of the wonderful independent watches included in this sale, starting with lot number 41, a Ludovic Ballois. It's a whimsical upside down watch where each hour marker is upside down except for the current hour. So in this case, the watch is telling you it's 10:10, and the 10 is right side up. All of the other hour markers are upside down, and there's a little dot to help orient the wearer's eye to the proper hour. At the turn of the next hour, the 10 will flip upside down and the 11 will go right side up and a dot will appear next to it. You can see the complicated mechanism that allows these instantaneous flips in the exhibition movement. The watch is brand new, complete with its original box and papers, with an estimate of $20,000 to $40,000. Lot number 42 is another FP Journe, a very early one with serial number 016. It's an Octa Reserve de Marche in platinum, 38 millimeter case with brass movement. The grainy yellow gold dial is stunning. It is offered with an estimate of $30,000 to $60,000. Lot number 43 is a wonderful Romain Gaultier Insight micro rotor with an open work dial, with a 39.5 millimeter platinum case and blue enamel dial. The watch fits the wrist extremely well. This one has a serial number of 1. It is in brand new condition, complete with its original box and paperwork. The estimate is $20,000 to $40,000. Lot number 59 is a milestone piece for the independent brand Gruyère Forze. It's a double tourbillon 30 degree, their very first model. This one in 18 karat white gold with a lovely dark gray dial and frosted gilt finished movement, an extremely hard technique to do. This one is complete with its original box and papers, a double tourbillon angled at 30 degrees for maximum accuracy. The estimate is $100,000 to $200,000. Lot number 61 is another early Journe, this one a tourbillon from 2001, in 18 karat pink gold with a lovely white gold gray dial. The pink gold tourbillons with brass movements produced until about 2004. Any case in pink gold is extremely rare. It's one of only 39 examples made and only one of 24 examples with a gray dial. The estimate is $120,000 to $240,000. Lot number 80 is a Gronfeld, a 1 hertz, featuring a oversized seconds indicator, and that actually makes the seconds very prominent due to the fact that it's the very first mechanical watch ever to incorporate an independent jumping seconds mechanism. It has its own dedicated gear train to allow the seconds to jump. The case is titanium. It's a serial number of 1 of a limited edition of 30, but this one is quite special. It's the only titanium example with this blue dial, custom ordered by the original purchaser of the watch. It comes complete with its original box and paperwork. The estimate is $25,000 to $50,000. Lot number 117 is a Laurent Ferrier Galet Traveler. Laurent Ferrier was a watchmaker who worked at Patek Philippe for 40 years, and in 2008 decided to launch his own brand. He was inspired by vintage Patek Philippe models. He uses innovative movements with exceptional escapements. This example, an 18 karat rose gold, features a dual time complication, perfect watch for traveling, and a cloisonné enamel dial featuring maps of the Americas. It's consigned by the original owner, one of only 5 examples made, complete with its original box and paperwork, with an estimate of $30,000 to $60,000. As we at Philips try in our watch auctions to offer as many good watches across budgets as possible, here's a selection of watches with low estimates starting below $10,000. And the first lot of the sale is an FP Journe Elegant, an innovative quartz watch that is in titanium. It's a Joint Elegante 48, complete with its original box and paperwork, very well preserved, with an estimate of $6,000 to $12,000. Lot number 11 is a Heuer Autavia, a vintage Heuer Autavia GMT, a reference 2446C with a beautiful blue and red bezel. The case is extremely well preserved, as is the dial on its original bracelet. The lot is being offered without reserve, so any bid can win it. The estimate is $8,000 to $12,000. Lot number 12 is a wonderful early Zenith El Primero. The El Primero was one of the first self-winding automatic chronograph movements, one of the greatest chronograph movements of all time, which Rolex would later use in 1988 when they introduced their first self-winding Daytona. This example from the early 1970s is a reference 1301, where the dial used to be black, where you see brown, and the black has aged to that wonderful caramel brown color. This was consigned by the original owner, complete with its box and paperwork, with an estimate of $4,000 to $6,000. Lot number 13 is a Patek Philippe reference 3445, classic dress watch in 18-karat white gold with a very crisp, well-preserved case. It tells you the time plus the date with a 35-millimeter case. Inside is one of the finest automatic movements coming out of Switzerland of all time, the iconic caliber 27460. The estimate is $6,000 to $12,000. Lot number 75 is a beautiful Cartier Tortue, a monopoussoir, a single button chronograph. The CPCP collection was introduced by Cartier in 1998, reintroducing some of their most emblematic and iconic models with modern movements and size for modern tastes. This example dates to 2003, and collectors seek these monopusher chronographs out due to the movement inside. The movement was made in collaboration with F.P. Journe, François-Paul Journe, Denis Flageolet, and Vianney Halter. This one is complete with its original box and paperwork, and it's being sold with an estimate of $8,000 to $12,000. And with that, I thank you very much for your attention. Thanks so much for joining this virtual preview. We hope to see you participate in our sale on December 12th, starting at 10 a.m. And for all those wishing to place a bid, I wish you the very best of luck in your bidding. And please do not hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. We are standing by to assist. Thank you very much.